Dear friends, we have gathered here today to celebrate the birth anniversary of a person commonly known as Swami Vivekananda. And most of you who are here, you are well familiar with the acts and deeds and his teachings that he left behind for us. Now, during the last year, we have been celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Swamiji. When we address Swamiji, we only mean Swami Vivekananda. Now, during this annual birthday celebration, all over the world, almost in every corner of the globe, people spoke about the endless facets of his spiritual personality. Somebody spoke about him as a political leader, inspiring the politicians how they should conduct the affairs of the country. Somebody saw him as a very, very evolved social preacher and a teacher. Somebody saw him in some other distance, emancipation for women. So his volume of work that he has left behind, which is now in 9 volumes, we find that various aspects of social ills or social imbalances he has tried to address to bring it back into an integrated whole, what we call in the present day language a holistic way of looking at things, interlinking various thoughts into one main theme. And when we look into that theme which we keep on hammering out over and over again, in a very simple word, his own word, it's a theme known as man-making, character-building education. For the whole human society, education. What type of education? Man-making, character-building education. Let us then try to find out what was the main theme of his teaching. The main theme of his teaching will be very apparent to us if we look at this whole human civilization, the whole human society. All the scientific discoveries, all the moral and ethical lessons, all the collective wisdom of saints and seers, thinkers and scientists and socialists and politicians, they rotate around one main idea. What is that? To bring greater comfort, greater facility, greater understanding, greater wisdom to humans. That is, we human beings, we are the main focus of attention of Swamiji's teachings. How does it help? Because the problems are created by the humans, problems are being solved by the humans for the greater good of greater number. So we can say that the humans are the building block of human society. That society has been fragmented because of it developed in various corners of the globe at a time when communication was not what it is as of today. So each human group and society lived in isolation, without any interaction or communication. And each group of human society developed a belief, a faith, a tradition, and ways and means of achieving that. That is the history of human civilization. And as of today, what we see, that each culture, each civilization, or each philosophy or religion, all of them say, I am better than thou. I am holier than thou. That is a deep-seated sense of separation, which was because they lived a separate way of life and living in every corner of the globe without any act of communication between them. So it is but justified the humans living in a group, living at a different point of time, in different places of geography, has their own culture, their own civilization, their own faith, their own belief. And based on that, without there was any, as because there was any interaction, what happens was each one developed an individuality. As we individuals have a sense of individuality, each group, each culture developed their individuality. That is, from a human being, we say, I am separate from you because I have a sense of difference from you. And you and me are two different entities. And that is where the ball starts rolling to create more and more and more complication when interaction between two cultures, two civilizations come together. And in today's world, it is a global village, as you know. Any idea generating in any corner of the globe can be transmitted all over the globe within a twinkling of an eye. So the question of living independently of each other does not arise. It is not practical, not commonsensical. This is the problem of today's society. Swami Vivekananda, he addressed this problem not at the top of the tree, not at the leaves and twigs and branches. He went to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is, what is a human being? Who is a human being? How can I define a human being? And of all these varieties of humans, how can I find out a highest common factor amongst all? This is the solution to today's problem in today's present day world. That how we can interact with each other on a common platform. And each group identifies itself with that common platform, and from that platform they enjoy the diversity prevalent in human society, not quarrel over the diversities. This is the answer to the present day problem. But Swamiji never tried to teach philosophy as such. His philosophy was that each one of us, if each one of us is educated in a correct sense and manner, the problem will be solved by each one of us by identifying ourselves of what we are in actuality. Not what we think of ourselves, but what is our actual, real identity. This was the challenge that Swami Vivekananda faced. That is, steeped not only intellectually, but because of his own perseverance, because his own depth and search for truth, because of the proper guidance of his matchless master, Sri Ramakrishna, he found out that common platform. And what is that common platform? He used to repeat it many a times in his statements, in his writings, in his letters, in his speeches. What is the common platform? The real identity of a human. We humans, we have classified ourselves in 1,000 different diverse ways. Poor, rich, educated and educated, black and white. Then comes nationality, then comes language. There are so many avenues by means of which we create a difference between each other. The common platform which Swamiji repeated over and over again is to be found in our scriptures. What is that? The statement, famous statement of the Upanishads, Srinantu Vishwe Amritasya Putra Ame Dhamani Divyani Tastu. Listen, Srinantu means listen. Vishwe, the citizens of the world, please kindly listen to me. We are verily the children of immortal bliss. That is our true original nature. We are the children, that means we have a right of inheritance to immortal bliss. And it is not only a poetic euphoria. Ame dhamani divyani tastu. There is an area of spiritual awareness which I have arrived at. I have experienced it. And I come back to tell you, you are not ordinary mortals. You are verily the children of immortal bliss. That is the common platform. All these other secondary identities are imposed by ourselves on ourselves because of lack of true knowledge of who we are and what we are. The pragmatic explanation of this is, look, this society is made by humans, a conglomeration of group of people. They call themselves society, a group. That group is as good as bad as the humans make out of it. If 10 persons group themselves with this conviction and this determination and this attitude, I will do no wrong, I will not do anything to harm the main body of human society, and 10 of us agree to conduct our lives accordingly, we have created a society which is on progress towards goodness, because we are all good. And if we group ourselves in an immoral and unethical manner, we are branded as mafias or a gang, doing harm to the society by harming ourselves. What is that harm? We are taking ourselves away from our true original nature and developing the beastly instincts which are in us. That is anger, vengeance, jealousy, revenge. These are the qualities that we develop when we become antisocial. And when we develop these qualities of charity, forbearance, forgiveness, compassion, fellow feeling, sympathy, we say we are building a new society based on moral and ethical values. So, dears, the main theme is that it is we humans, we make ourselves good or bad according to our choice, our inclination, and our persuasion. The root cause is we have moved out of the awareness of our true original nature. This awareness has to be cultivated and brought back to cure the society of all its ills. These are self-inflicted wounds which the system, the human system, has to get rid of. There comes the concept of spiritual value. If we are the children of immortal bliss, why is it that we are sad, we are unhappy, we are miserable? Why? Because we have moved out of our true original identity. Why did he move out? Swamiji analyzes the human personality based on analysis of all scriptures, not only one. All scriptures speak of the same truth, the same reality in different languages, according to different traditions, different faiths. He says, look, we humans, we are a biological creature. And all he says is supported by the realities of all scriptures under the sun. He doesn't quote anybody. He quotes the truth, the reality. And as because he was born an Indian, he inherited the wisdom of the Upanishads and the Vedas, he could translate those ideas into modern language. And that is why he is being so much recognized as days go on. He is not being forgotten, but he is being recognized. Because of this matter, he spoke in a language which the modern man understood. And in his own words, he used to say, I have served the old nectar in a new bottle. The essence is the same, the container is different. Language and behavior and manners. What does he say? Like, look, if we analyze a human being, what do we find from this hypothesis of making ourselves a better specimen of a human being? And the journey ends up when we identify we are verily the children of immortal bliss. That is what our inheritance is, and we have a right to our inheritance. We humans, according to the scriptures, as Swamiji mentioned in a modern language, we are a bundle of faculties. We are very proud, we are rational, we are emotional, we have the capacity to perform our duties according to our likes and dislikes, according to our conveniences, known as ingenuity, and we have a determination of willpower to surmount all difficulties and reach my goal. So what is known as human personality is now being analyzed. A human is bestowed with the faculties known as rationality, emotionality, the qualities of head and heart, ingenuity, to capacity to do something, not to do something, and to do that very thing in a way he or she wants to do it. Kurtum akartum annatha kurtum vashakyam. That is how it is said. Ingenuity. I tell you, or I request you, please do so. You have an inherent right to say no to me. Nobody can stop you from saying, no, I won't. Then you think over and say, I will, but I'll not do it the way you say. I'll do it my own way. That inherent faculty, that inherent freedom of doing is in us. That is known as human ingenuity, human willpower. And then he analyzes, the scriptures analyzes, and he speaks the words of the scripture in a modern language. And he says, but there are 6 propensities, 6 weaknesses of a human personality. Inordinate desire, an unstoppable anger, greed, confused thinking, vanity, and envy, jealousy, or rancor. No human can say, I do not have these propensities, these weaknesses. So for the point of view of reaching that goal, I am the child of the divine, I am the children of immortal bliss. To reach that goal, we have to analyze our instrument with which we can reach that goal. What is that instrument but this body-mind complex which I am born with? That is all that I have. So he teaches us, try to establish yourself in these 4 positive faculties, direct your rationality to convince yourself the path by means of which you can make yourself a better specimen of a human being. Rationality is directed towards this goal, where it always tells you, do, don't. Why don't? It is taking you away from the goal of being one with the divine. So the list of do's are developed by all branches of practicing religion all over the globe. You will find each and every scripture giving you a list of do's and don'ts. What does it mean? People who were born like us, but they were possessed by unstoppable desire to make themselves a better specimen of a human being. They followed certain tracks. And having reached the goal, with the authority of their own experience, they tell you, please don't do these things. Please continue to do these things. Question of morality, question of ethics comes in the picture. Whatever is moral, whatever is ethical, leads you to that goal. Whatever is immoral, whatever is non-ethical, which will not allow you to walk down that road to reach that goal. So, this is to be done, that is to be avoided, not done. So, 4 faculties are positive, throbbing, vibrating, a part and parcel of our daily life. We can put our attention to that, to cultivate those faculties of rationality, emotionality, ingenuity, and willpower, to try to improve the quality of our personality, to make ourselves a better specimen of a human being. On the other hand, we find we are victims of anger, we are victims of inordinate desire, we are victims of greed, we are victims of jealousy, rancor, confusion, and the most important is our vanity and our pride. You can't deny that you don't have these in you. If these 6 avenues of spending your energy is not taken into control, this human system which generates energy, which we consume physically, we spend physically, we spend emotionally, we spend rationally. Because the object calls for an all-consuming, one-pointed, relentless effort, we don't have the luxury or the liberty to waste our energy in a misdirected way. Swamiji, through the concept of Karma Yoga, concept of Raja Yoga, concept of Jnana Yoga, concept of Bhakti Yoga. These 4 yogas means avenue of communication, by means of which you can be and become one with the divine Amritasya Putra. You can be so. These are the methodologies. Methodology where rationality plays a predominant role, Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the emotionality where taking a primary role. Karma Yoga is ingenuity, and Raja Yoga is Atma Sanjama Yoga, epitomized by Sri Krishna in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Control of the movement of your mind. Swamiji teaches us that how we should let the flow of life continue. While continuing with the flow of life, we sharpen our rationality, which expresses itself as discretion, discrimination. We sharpen it so that I do not take any decision which is detrimental to the goal that I have decided for myself, to be one with God, to be perfect. Why? Not for my hobby or not for my individual salvation, but the whole society will come out of its rotten groove, and the society will be a society of divine beings. It may be an utopia, it may be a dream, but what is the harm of dreaming a dream which takes you towards God? We are all dreaming. I am dreaming because of my ambition to be so and so. You are dreaming because of your ambition to be wealthy, healthy, this. We are dreaming all the time. And not only we are dreaming, we pursue that dream till it becomes a reality. Ambition becomes the motive power to achieve our dream. What is the harm in dreaming a dream? A noble dream that I, a normal mortal, I have within me this tremendous amount of energy which I have not been able to manage and manipulate it, and that is why it is going waste. I am not using my discretion based on rationality. I am not using my emotionality in such a manner that it is rewarding. I am not using my ingenuity to manage my energy, and I am not giving vent to my indomitable willpower. I am dissipating my energy, pursuing the urge of senses and etc. So Swamiji teaches us if we can all try to be better and better as a human being by betterment of our personality, the whole society will be a better place to live in. We can bring in the paradise into this world of ours. It may be a dream. It is a dream today. But what is dream today, what is imagination today, becomes a realization tomorrow. And I'll give you examples here to justify the statement, it is worthy dreaming a noble dream to manifest the potential divinity which is already within me, and I have lost track of it, lost sense of it, lost the very idea that I am the divine, ruined myself. This dream of ours, what Swamiji says, man-making, character-building education, is nothing else but education self-imposed by an educated, mature person, knowing full well what he needs to do, what he doesn't need to do, and he does what he needs to do to manifest that potential divinity already within us, to be aware that I am nothing else but the immortal bliss, known by very many words, belong to very many faiths and beliefs. But each and every religion tells you, I will show you the path to peace and tranquility, joy and ecstasy, an experience which you have when you identify yourself with your true original nature, the divine. So Swamiji handled this problem of man-making character-building education by introducing for the present-day world the concept of karma yoga. That is, let your life flow. Don't stop the flow of your life. Let your body-mind complex be totally involved. And with your rationality, with your emotionality, with your ingenuity and unstoppable determined willpower, you be alert all the time. Don't dissipate your energy by those lower potentials, lower frailties of yours. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madhamatsarja. Intense desire for the things of the world, anger, greed, confusion, moha, mother, vanity, pride, and matsarya, jealousy, envy, rancor. If you are to be angry with somebody, you better direct that anger to yourself, because you fail to live up to your own standards. You have put in a standard for yourself. I am going to be a better specimen of a human being. If I allow myself to be victim of these propensities and follow the urges of these propensities, be a victim of these propensities, I am sorry, I am abusing, disusing, misusing the energy that I am developing within myself to reach my goal of life. I am misdirecting it, I am misusing it, abusing it, disusing it. If I have to be angry, let me be angry on myself. If I have to be jealous, let me be jealous of a saint. He has achieved that goal. Why not me? Why can't I? You see, your rationality tells you how to direct the propensities of your life into an avenue of excellence, reaching that excellence of your perfected personality. Karma yoga teaches you that art. How to live in this world and how not to get involved with this world, to remain in this world, to perform the duties of your life and whatever the society or the family or the nation claims of you. But you do so in a subtle, perfect manner, that you are no more attached to the world. You drive yourself away from these worldly attachments and direct your attention to manifestation of the potential divinity already within us. This is the concept of Karma Yoga that Swamiji left behind for us, and instead of looking at him as a world teacher and this and this and this, because the personality of a realized soul has endless facets, like a shining diamond. From whichever angle and facet you see, you find a wonderful splendor coming out of it. Personalities of such realized souls never dim. Christ has not been forgotten. Buddha has not been forgotten. Other historical figures have been forgotten. But such souls are never forgotten. Why? Because they have identified themselves with the reality behind the appearance, and they are known as realized souls, incarnations, prophets, messengers, the Son of God. These are the words that are being used. Because of that, their words have a tremendous effect on human mind. If you read a letter of his written to a person in response to the grief that he is going through, a new vista will open up. Oh, is that the way a person could be consoled apart from few words of consolation? He would say, come out of this weakness, arise awake and stop not till the goal is reached. That is the answer to all your problems. Strength and strength and strength. Moral, mental, rational, physical. Be strong from all points of view. Don't yield to your weaknesses. Now these are the words of strength. These are the words of courage. These are the words of inspiration that we'll find in his essays. And to make it less philosophical, please kindly make it possible to read the letter that he has written to the devotees and disciples all over the world of various problems, various situations, various personality difficulties. Read his letters to each and every individual, and your eyes will open up. The only word that crystallizes from that is be strong, face this world, and onward march to the goal. Stop not till the goal is reached, because he has achieved that goal, and he says it is doable, achievable, reachable, and it is possible. Let us not fail him. Let us raise our level of consciousness from where we are to the children of immortal bliss. The world will change its color for you. The world will remain as it is, but your perspective will change to such an extent you will live in God, live with God, live for the sake of God by the blessings of God. Nothing but the divine in your life. That is the goal Swamiji set for all the individuals, so that we can change the face of society. From being devilish, this society becomes godly. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you ever so much for your patience here.